From the unexplained to the mundane, come join us on a journey to the fringe.
Hello and welcome to Journey to the Fringe, where the strange is standard and the unexplained is just a Tuesday. Anyhow, we're here on a Friday, 48 hours well after you've decided on your veganism. Here today with the Chelsea episode. We are your podcast hosts, Taylor and Chelsea. Just like letting Chelsea do her thing now.
That was amazing. And it's official. We foretold the future regular person Andy is now regular person Andy. I believe our last update was on regular person Andy being able to travel again. What with the non-release of the Epstein files thing, but things are looking down, way down for regular Andy now.
The question is less, can he travel, and more, should he travel?
I think his future is looking really uncertain right now.
He's really looking into Bahrain again.
And while we don't generally cover topical news, I think we're okay on this one to make an exception because we've been following him for quite a while now. And I just want to revel in the downfall that he's currently going through.
Can I just add at this point, I've learned so much about British Andy in this little bit of time. Specifically that, like, his real name, which I can't remember in any way. But he's got a real name, a real full name that he has to go by now.
It's not his real name. It was a name that he is being forced to go by now. And I don't think anybody knew it. It was just, they're like, we got to give him something. Regular person Andy just won't do.
You don't think they mad-libbed it, do you? Because that does feel like what the upper-class British people might mad-lib.
They might have, because there's no circumstance in which regular person Andy was born into this world where he was ever going to go by this, and he found it. So, we'll talk about it. Today I thought I would do a full episode on what's going on up until this very point, because I did update it today. Not only because this is a story we've been following since I think pretty much our inception, but also because I've just finished Entitled, The Rise and Fall of the House of York, and the Virginia Giuffre memoir, Nobody's Girl, both very different reads. So in honor of my reading a book, I've collected some articles to go through on this episode to highlight some of the goings-ons of regular person Andy. By the time this comes out, there may be many more things going on with him. So let's just jump right in. October 15th. Andrew emails show contact with Epstein lasted beyond 2010. And I should tell you right now, I've ordered these in chronological order. I'm giving you the title and then I'll give you a summary.
Yeah, and it's not when it's coming out, it's when it happened, correct?
It would be the date of the article. So it would be similar. So this one's from the BBC News, written by Sean Collan. This article confirms that Prince Andrew continued corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein after 2010, despite publicly claiming he cut ties with the convicted sex offender that year. The BBC reports on emails from 2011, including one in which Andrew wrote, quote, "I'm just as concerned for you. Don't worry about me. It would seem we are in this together and we'll have to rise above it. Otherwise, keep in close touch and we'll play some more soon. Many exclamation marks," end quote. This email was sent the day after a photo of Andrew with Virginia Giuffre was published. He did publicly go on record on the BBC documentary, which I have a little treat for you later, that does say that he did cut ties with him prior to this. The messages were uncovered in court documents related to a separate U.S. case involving former J.P. Morgan executive Jess Staley. They suggest that Andrew maintained a friendly and familiar tone with Epstein even after his conviction and release from prison. Yes, he was pictured with Jeffrey Epstein after his release from prison. The article emphasizes that these revelations undermine Andrew's 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, where he insisted he had no further contact with Epstein after 2010. The leak has intensified calls for accountability, with U.S. lawmakers and UK MPs arguing Andrew to testify. The BBC also notes that the monarchy's efforts to distance itself from Andrew, such as stripping him of titles, may not be enough to contain the reputational damage. In April 2010, months after Epstein's release from prison for prostituting minors, Andrew emailed Epstein saying, quote, it would be nice to catch up in person, end quote, and that he had, quote, no immediate plans to drop by New York, but I think I should at some stage soon, end quote. October 17th, we have a statement. I grabbed this right from the Royals website, whatever the hell it is. I can't remember.
They have their own website?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So this statement's published on their website. A statement from Prince Andrew. Quote, in discussion with the king and my immediate and wider family, we have concluded the continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. I have decided, as I always have, to put my duty to my family and country first. I stand by my decision 5 years ago to stand back from public life. With His Majesty's agreement, we feel I must now go a step further. I will therefore no longer use my title or the honors which have been conferred upon me. As I have said previously, I vigorously deny the accusations against me. End. October 18, 2025. Article title, York MP calls on royal family to explain source of £12 million Virginia Giuffre payment. That's from The Guardian. Geraldine McKelvey and Sammy Gexoiler are the authors of that one. The summary of this article. York MP Rachel Maskell has demanded transparency from Buckingham Palace regarding the $12 million settlement paid to Virginia Giuffre by Prince Andrew. She questions whether public funds were used and calls for a formal inquiry. Quote, the public has a right to know whether their money was used to silence a victim of abuse, end quote. The article highlights growing political pressure in the UK for financial accountability and suggests that the monarchy's silence is fueling public distrust. It gets worse. October 25th, 2025. Article title, Prince Andrew's remarks about Kate sparked royal rift with Prince William. This isn't the worser part. It adds to kind of what's going on. This article is from Marie Claire. Kaylee Roberts is the author, and the summary of this one is, this article explores how a disparaging comment made by Prince Andrew about Kate Middleton allegedly triggered a long-standing rift between him and Prince William. The remark made early in William and Kate's relationship reportedly questions Kate's suitability for royal life and was perceived as snobbish and dismissive. Quote, attributed to regular person Andy, quote, she's just a commoner, she'll never fit in. Next quote, Andrew has never been a great judge of character, so it's not surprising that he would resent someone as stellar as Kate eclipsing him and pretty much everyone else in the monarchy, end quote. I really like that quote from the article. It just kind of summarized his...
Isn't, like, all royal related to him anyway? So is he saying, like, you should have married your sister, basically?
Yeah, probably.
Or a cousin.
He really is a shitty judge of character, though. It's really undeniable. So I really liked how that kind of brought it all kind of together. And I also like, you can just tell that Prince William just absolutely fucking hates his guts.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can tell it. You just get it off of him.
He's creepy Uncle Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Absolutely.
Like, they call him that.
You just want nothing to do with him. You can tell. October 30th, Buckingham Palace puts out a statement. They're like, we got to deal with this. This is snowballing. People are questioning where money's coming from and everything. And regular person Andy tried to get ahead of it. He knew this was going to come up. It was either going to be taken from him or he had to renounce it. So he renounces it. Buckingham Palace is like, oh, fuck. We're going to crumble to our approval rating. I don't know if that's what they call it. Not good. We're on shaky ground, so we're going to put out a statement because it's not looking good for them either. So they published this on their website, October 30th. His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. There you go.
It's quite the name.
It sounds like a wombat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His lease on Royal Lodge has, to date, provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Love that line. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. End. I love their one line in that. So, we have this is from before this one. October 29th. MPs demand clarity over Prince Andrew's peppercorn rent at Royal Lodge. This is from The Guardian, author Anissa Ahmed. This article reports that UK members of Parliament are calling for an investigation into the financial arrangement allowing Prince Andrew to live at Royal Lodge, a 30-room mansion in Windsor Great Park, for a nominal annual rent, reportedly £250 a month. The arrangement stems from a 75-year lease signed in 2003, but critics argue it's inappropriate given Andrew's removal from royal duties and recent scandals. Quote, "It's time the public knew whether they're subsidizing a disgraced royal's lifestyle," said one MP. "There is considerable and understandable public interest in the spending of public money in relation to Prince Andrew, which in part stems from the fact that he is no longer a working royal and from serious and disturbing allegations made against him." End quote. The Guardian notes that Andrew has spent millions on renovations and continues to reside there despite King Charles's efforts to relocate him. The article raises concerns about transparency, accountability, and the optics of privilege, especially as Buckingham Palace remains silent on the lease's terms and funding sources. Disgraced royal living rent-free for years stings, especially during a cost of living crisis, currently happening in many places in the world. October 30th, title, Prince Andrew is losing his prince title and his royal estate. This is from the CBC News. The summary of this article, Buckingham Palace announces that Prince Andrew will be stripped of his prince title and evicted from Royal Lodge, as we've already learned. I thought this was a nice summary of it in this article. He will now be referred to as regular person Andy. Just kidding. It's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. This decision follows mounting public and political pressure over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein and the settlement paid to Virginia Giuffre. A statement said he will also move out of Royal Lodge, the home in Windsor Great Park he has had for decades. Constitutional experts said the move is unprecedented in the royal family's modern history, marking the first genuine royal crisis in Charles's reign. I would say that's correct. Andy will be moved to Sandringham. Buckingham Palace isn't saying exactly where Andrew will live on Sandringham Estate, the King's private estate in Norfolk, northeast of London.
To be fair, people might murder him if they know where he lived.
Yeah, and I think he's on thin ice with the royal family as well. Yep.
He's on time.
Sandringham as a private estate means that no taxpayer money will be spent housing Andrew. Quote, His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. End quote. The move is seen as King Charles's attempt to protect the monarchy's reputation amid growing scrutiny and backlash. I like this one. October 30th, article title. A BBC studio audience applauded the news. And this is written by Anna Cunningham. Summary. Today's news broke during a recording of the BBC's Question Time, a TV show debating current issues with political guests in front of a live studio audience. As the details of the King's decision was read out by the host Fiona Bruce, the studio audience gave a resounding applause. I quite like that.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. October 30th, 2025. Title of this one, No Longer Prince Andrew, an expert on how royals can be stripped of their titles. This is from The Conversation, written by Cindy McCreary, cultural historian. Cindy McCreary explains the constitutional and symbolic process behind stripping royal titles. King Charles issued a letters patent to remove Prince Andrew's prince and his Royal Highness styles, a rare and significant act. While titles can be revoked by the monarch, Andrew remains in the line of succession unless Parliament intervenes. Quote, this is a powerful... Yeah. It's a powerful symbolic move, but it doesn't remove him from the line of succession. The article emphasizes that this decision reflects Charles's desire to modernize and protect the monarchy's reputation amid scandal. Andrew remains 8th in line to the throne and could only be removed by the line of succession by an act of parliament, Prescott said, which I'm surprised isn't happening, to be honest with you. That would also require the consent of the 14 other countries where Charles is king, including Canada.
Wait, we would have to pass our own thing?
I guess so. I don't
Or
think...
he could accidentally become king?
I would vote for that. I mean, he would be king here too, right? Technically.
That was on nobody's ticket in the last election.
Yeah, and you know what? I say do it. Who's gonna vote against this? I mean, it's gonna cost money to vote to do that, but I don't think anyone gives a fuck at this point. They just want to...
It's a pretty minimal vote.
It's true. There have been rare removals from the line of succession in the past, one being Prince Michael of Kent, who lost his place when he married a Catholic in 1978, as per the Act of Settlement in 1701. With the Succession to the Crown Act in 2013, Prince Michael was reinstated into the line of succession. So yeah, that one is really interesting just on the technicalities over stripping the titles from him gets him, but he's still in the bloodline, right? They can't take that away unless they kill him. Not
or
saying
the government says that you don't count anymore.
Yeah, I guess there's that too, yeah. Killing him's probably easier. October 31st, Prince Andrew has lost his titles but could still be king. What else does he keep? National Post, Kearse Knight. Following King Charles's decision to strip Prince Andrew of his prince title and royal honors, the article explores what Andrew still retains. I'm just going to read what else so what he keeps. I covered the other stuff in the other article. He keeps his personal wealth, military pension, and Falklands War Medal, which was earned through active service and cannot be revoked, which I think is funny because I read his book and pretty much they're insinuating that his whole military career was based on privilege.
Well, yeah, he didn't have to actually go to war in any time.
Yeah.
Except that time where he forgot to sweat.
Most people that they had in the book that were talking about his career in the military said that he was just this privileged, I guess, Nepo baby in the end. His daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugene, retain their titles, though their public roles are limited as well, which I was shocked at. The article emphasizes that while Andrew's public role is over, his legal and hereditary status remains intact unless further action is taken. It also notes that his new designation, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, marks a rare and dramatic shift in his royal identity. The piece notes that while his public role is over, his legal and financial entitlements remain largely intact unless further action is taken. October 31st, 2025, former Prince Andrew brought 40 prostitutes to hotel in Thailand using taxpayer money, reveals historian. Spectacular fall from grace. This one's the Times of India, of all places reporting India, the Times of them.
Well, technically he's still king of India, isn't he?
Is he?
They're part of the Commonwealth.
Are they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. A historian revealed that Prince Andrew allegedly used public funds to pay for 40 sex workers during a trip to Thailand. The claim, part of a broader expose on his spectacular fall from grace, spectacular it is, has reignited outrage over royal spending and accountability. Quote, "This was not just a lapse in judgment, it was a grotesque abuse of privilege." End quote. The article underscores how Andrew's behavior has long been shielded by royal status and how recent revelations are fueling calls for criminal investigation and financial transparency. Yep, you'll notice that a lot of these are kind of the monarchy covering up for his stuff so far.
Yeah.
In everything that's talking about the past. They're finally putting a foot down, realizing that it's damaging them more than anything now that his accusations are getting so very public. October 31st, Prince Andrew, what his behavior tells us about the royal family. This is from The Guardian, Caroline Davies. This analysis critiques the monarchy's long-standing tolerance of Prince Andrew's behavior, arguing that his downfall reflects deeper institutional flaws. The article highlights how Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein and his refusal to take responsibility were enabled by a culture of privilege and protection. This analysis piece delves into the deeper implications of Prince Andrew's conduct and the royal family's response. It critiques the monarchy's long-standing tendency to shield problematic members and questions whether the institution is truly capable of reform. Personally, I wouldn't just say reform, but also the individuals that they're capable of turning out. This guy is not something, he's not a leader, he's not something to be proud of. He's just a problem, to put it lightly. That's probably a compliment to him, actually. The article argues that Andrew's downfall is not just personal, but emblematic of broader issues within the royal system, including privilege, lack of accountability, and outdated traditions. Quote, Andrew's behavior was tolerated for decades until it became untenable, end quote. The piece suggests that the palace's recent actions are reactive rather than proactive, driven by public outrage rather than internal ethics. Quote, Andrew's behavior was tolerated for decades until it became untenable, end quote. November 1st, Prince Andrew faces renewed scrutiny over Virginia Giuffre claims in Panorama follow-up. The Panorama interview is the one that you talk about with regular person Andy, where he says he doesn't sweat. This one's from The Independent, from Shweta Sharma and Athena Stavru. This article covers the release of a follow-up episode of the BBC's Panorama investigation, reigniting public attention on Virginia Giuffre's allegations against Prince Andrew. The program includes new testimony and commentary from legal experts, suggesting that Andrew's legal exposure may not be over. The piece also highlights the palace's silence in response to the broadcast, contrasting it with the swift action taken to strip Andrew of its titles. His titles. A standout quote from Giuffre's lawyer, quote, this is not just about one man, it's about a system that allowed abuse to flourish, end quote. The article underscores the continuing reputational damage to the monarchy. The BBC's Panorama investigation into Prince Andrew, titled Panorama, The Fall of Prince Andrew, is a documentary series that revisits his ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre, featuring previously unaired footage and new revelations. And like I said, that the original one was aired in 2019. I rewatched it in preparation for this episode, and man, it is a hard watch. It is a hard watch.
Yeah.
All the way through. He's just lying through his teeth. All he can say is, I don't remember meeting her, and he's stumbling all over himself. He's like, that picture...
He specifically remembers the pizza.
Yeah, he remembers the pizza. He goes, well, that picture was taken upstairs, and I've never been upstairs in Ghislaine Maxwell's house. And just how he keeps repeating that, and he keeps saying it was taken upstairs. Like, how would you know that was taken upstairs if you've never been there? And then he's like, I've never been to that club that Virginia Roberts at the time said that I was there with her at, because I don't know where that club is. He's just
he has beautiful excuses.
Why they let him do that? I think it's just privilege. Honestly, the whole interview just... It reeks of privilege.
It reeks of somebody who thinks they can pull a fast one on someone.
He clearly can't. He cannot. No. And that's why I said it reeks of privilege. So the follow-up episode did just come out in 2025, November 2025, and it features previously unseen footage from Giuffre's 2019 interview. She says in the footage, quote, I was a toy, I was there to be passed around, but I was still a human being with feelings and emotion and sadness, end quote. She expressed disbelief that Andrew, a father of daughters, could still abuse her. Key themes are emotional depth. The episode highlights Giuffre's pain and humanity, contrasting it with Andrew's perceived lack of accountability. Legal experts interviewed in the documentary argue that Andrew's case reflects broader failures in elite institutions to protect vulnerable individuals, and the broadcast intensified calls for transparency around Andy's settlement with Giuffre and his continued legal exposure. The Panorama episode added pressure on the royal family, especially as it aired just days after Andy was stripped of his titles and evicted from Royal Lodge. It also fueled speculation about further legal consequences and the monarchy's role in shielding its members. Next article, November 1st, House Democrats asked former Prince Andrew to appear for questioning about Jeffrey Epstein. From CBS News by Haley Ott, the U.S. House Democrats are calling for Prince Andrew to testify about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and the financial settlement paid to Virginia Giuffre. Lawmakers argue that Andrew's involvement may shed light on Epstein's broader network and the mechanisms of elite protection. Quote, "We cannot allow powerful men to evade accountability simply because they wear a crown," end quote. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The article notes that... Oh, you're going to like this.
AOC.
What?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh,
AOC.
yeah, you got it. The article notes that diplomatic immunity no longer applies to Andrew and that subpoenas of formal requests may follow if UK cooperation is secured. Now that he has no titles.
Yeah, hopefully. But he's also, he's picking his places he's flying pretty carefully right now.
Yep. He's no longer back to Air Miles Andy.
No, he is Bahrain Andy at most.
He had such a brief glimpse of potential freedom.
Oil Bahrain Andy.
November 1st, Met Police looks into reports Prince Andrew asked officer to investigate accuser, which is Virginia Giuffre, as William plans ruthless approach towards the royals. This is Sky News. I couldn't find the author on this one. This article reports that the Metropolitan Police have been asked to investigate whether Prince Andrew committed misconduct by allegedly attempting to smear Virginia Giuffre in 2011. The request stems from claims that Andrew instructed his royal protection officer to dig up damaging information on Giuffre shortly after her allegations became public. Quote, "If true, this would amount to a serious abuse of power and obstruction," end quote, said a legal source. The article also highlights, less importantly, that Prince William is taking a ruthless stance toward Andrew, supporting his permanent exclusion from royal events and future coronations. Lawyers for Epstein's victims predict more damaging leaks are imminent, potentially involving other high-profile figures. What does life look like for Prince Andrew now that he's been stripped of his titles? This is Marie Claire from Kristen Contino. Kristen Contino explores Andrew's post-title lifestyle. He's been evicted from Royal Lodge and will relocate to a private residence in Sandringham Estate. The article paints a picture of isolation and diminished influence, noting that regular person Andy's routine will consist of quiet weekends, legal consultations, and limited public visibility. November 1st, ex-Prince Andrew faces increased calls by U.S. lawmakers to testify in Epstein case. This one's by Politico EU staff Jacob Wiseman. Following renewed scrutiny of Prince Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, several U.S. lawmakers are urging him to testify before Congress. The pressure intensified after Virginia Giuffre's death and the release of new BBC footage. Lawmakers argued that Andrew's testimony could shed light on Epstein's network and the role of powerful figures in enabling abuse. Quote, "The American people deserve answers. If Andrew has nothing to hide, he should come forward." The article notes that while Andrew is no longer a working royal, diplomatic and legal hurdles remain. His lawyers have declined comment, and UK officials have not confirmed cooperation.
Mostly, they just want to hear if he knew Trump in any way, which he probably did. Trump loves clout.
November 2nd, 2025. Andrew erased royal tributes to Jeffrey Epstein victims. That one's from The Times, Tom Sykes. The expose reveals that Prince Andrew repeatedly removed references to Epstein's victims from official palace statements over the years. A source close...
How does he have access to that? I feel like he walked into the wrong room and just Mr. Beaned them out of existence.
Doesn't he feel like a Mr. Bean type character?
Yeah, he does.
He does. A source close to the king and queen said Andrew resisted acknowledging the victim's suffering even after his disastrous 2019 interview. Quote, "Each time courtiers drafted in references to the victims, they were removed after they went to Andrew for sign-off." Why would they go to him for sign-off? The article these are just his, victims coming forward. Better have him sign off on it. The article highlights internal frustration within the royal family, especially from Camilla and Sophie, I don't know who that is, whose advocacy for abuse survivors clashed with Andrew's evasiveness.
I think Sophie's their sister, is it not?
I have no idea. The next one Oh, yeah, here's a good one. November 3rd. Donald Trump feels badly for the royal family after ex-Prince Andrew is stripped of his titles. Tragic situation. This one's from OK Magazine from Irene Marie Espera. Donald Trump commented on Prince Andrew's title removal, expressing sympathy for the royal family. He reportedly told aides he feels badly about the situation and believes Andrew was thrown under the bus. It's a shame. I always liked him. He was a gentleman. Oh, God. The misogynistic tone of that. The article notes Trump's past interactions with Andrew and Epstein and frames his remarks as part of a broader pattern of defending controversial figures. Oh, I like this one too. Okay, I like all my articles, okay? Name change call for Prince Andrew Road in Maidenhead. That's the article title. From the BBC News. Some residents of Prince Andrew Road and Prince Andrew Close in Maidenhead have requested that the streets be renamed, citing discomfort with the association after Prince Andrew was stripped of his titles and redesignated as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The roads were originally named in the 1960s to honor his birth. The Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead stated that any formal application for renaming would be assessed according to local procedures, which require unanimous agreement from all property owners on the affected streets. Quote, "It's not right to have a street named after someone who's brought shame on the royal family," said one resident. The article also notes that similar calls have emerged in Helston, near Norwich, although the road was named after Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark, not the Duke of York.
But it was so bad that they just have to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
He was such a piece of shit.
They don't know about that guy anymore.
Yeah.
And final article titled, this is published yesterday, Ex-Prince Andrew insisting on royal staff and not feeling confined in new homes, says former butler. This is Marie Claire, written by Amy McKeldin. This article reveals that Prince Andrew, now officially regular person Andy, is reportedly refusing to scale back his royal lifestyle, even after being stripped of his titles and evicted from Royal Lodge. According to his former butler, Andrew is insisting on retaining royal staff, including footmen and valets, and continues to behave as though he is entitled to full royal treatment.
I mean, to be fair, the guy can't drive. He has never driven in his life. You expect him to pick up driving at like 65?
Yes, he's now regular. He was behaving irregular now. He was really behaving like royalty now, wasn't he?
Yeah, just the part we don't want to talk about with royalty.
Yeah, exactly. Quote, he still expects to be treated like a prince, even if the palace says otherwise, end quote. The article also notes that Andrew does not feel confined in his new, smaller residence and is allegedly resisting efforts by King Charles to further reduce his privileges. The former butler describes Andrew as delusional and in denial about his changed status. The article frames this as a part of a broader pattern of Andrew's refusal to accept accountability even as public and political pressure mounts. What say you? What do you have to say about all of this?
Oh man, just first off,
it's a train wreck.
It's a train wreck. The royal family is trying to maintain any form of decadence that they can, or at least persona that they are royal.
Yeah.
So they are just ditching him as fast as they can. Man, he is trying to do his own damage control, but I feel he's in charge of his damage control.
Yeah,
and he's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's a total idiot. And, you know, I really needed these articles, too, to put the monarchy in a different light for me, because, yes, I totally got before reading all of these that they're outdated. Who needs the monarchy, am I right? But it just gives this whole larger implication of they're only finally doing something about this now when they're being absolutely hands tied forced to. Yeah. Because they can't look away from it anymore.
They will be destroyed if they don't do something about it. That's basically it.
And when Queen Elizabeth was alive, she was doing everything to pay off this kind of stuff, to push it to the side so that nobody paid attention to it. And they were quite content doing that. And I think now they're realizing that they're not able to do that. So they had to take a much more, brazen report. And it almost seems like they're being celebrated for actually actually doing something when they should have done
Look
something
at you
a
guys
long time ago.
doing the bare minimum. Yeah, exactly.
So I think they really opened my eyes, at least in these articles, showing the behavior that was covering up for what is clearly an idiot acting incredibly inappropriately.
See, idiot might be the wrong term for him. Entitled frat boy, I think, is like fully how I encapsulate British Andy.
And you're not lying. And he's very, from the book that I read about him too, he's very, like, naive.
Yeah. No, it's ignorance and idiocy can seem the same, but they are different things.
It's true. He's very entitled and can't read a room. And all of those together do make me summarize it as idiot. But you're right, they are different from idiot.
And I do find it hilarious because you can exist as an individual with those skills and still make a fortune as the second born to the Queen of England.
Yeah,
but he
true.
fucked it up.
Yeah.
And it's because he kind of acted as the firstborn.
It's funny because he does have a certain kind of arrogance to the stupidity because he thought he could get on.
I almost think it's a pretentiousness.
Royals.
It's a pretentiousness that he just thinks he's better than them.
Yeah, because he could go on there and make up all these lies that he doesn't sweat and think that people are just going to believe him.
Yeah, they'll get it. Because I'm royal born, whereas they're the common folk.
That has to be one of the biggest royal fuck-ups in history, that they let him do that.
It's pretty high up there.
It is pretty high up there. I mean, there's only a small timeline where royals could be interviewed. In the grand timeline of things.
I don't know. Like, I picture it the same way as, like, him in front of a large crowd of the masses, like, saying, "People of the land, I must tell you, for I do not sweat.
I do not sweat. It couldn't have been
These rumors are salacious of me. That is all. No further follow-up questions."
Oh, he's such a jackass.
Yeah.
I
almost feel like that's how he thought it was actually going to happen instead of an interview. Because there were follow-up questions.
There was, and she just kept reading the question back to him after he said his reply. And you know what? He's in a free fall right now, going down. I don't see an end to this. This last one where he's trying to keep his butler and stuff like that was just published yesterday. So by the time this is published, you get your episode on a Friday. He may be dead.
Yeah, we don't know where the ground for royals are.
There may be no more monarchy. We don't know. But this is what we can
He
do
might be
at this
king,
time.
weirdly enough. Like, still, like we said, 8th in line.
Yeah.
If he went on a murder spree.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, fuck. We could be living in a weird world by the time this gets to your ears. And, it was a fun episode to look at, and I just read them and I laugh and I both laugh and recoil because I still feel like, based on that last article, it's not hitting him. Yeah. This is not a rock bottom for him.
Oh no, he is not at rock bottom.
No.
He hasn't even tried heroin, as far as I can tell.
No. I would say he's not hard enough to have tried heroin by this point.
Oh, no.
Maybe he's tried heroin by the time this comes out.
No, Chelsea, at this point he has heard about the marijuana.
Oh, I don't know.
No, he has heard about it.
Okay.
He hasn't tried it. That's the hard drug he heard about. Is the marijuana.
Yeah, okay. Now that sounds real. Yeah, that's the regular person Andy update we all needed. And to take us on out of this one, I'm going to leave you with some special excerpts of the BBC interview about regular person Andy not being able to sweat.
Oh, good. And with that, I have been Taylor, here with Chelsea. We are Journey to the Fringe. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She was very specific about that night. Mm-hmm. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at. And I simply, it was almost impossible for me to sweat.
Do you remember dancing at Tramp?
No, that couldn't have happened because the date that is being suggested, I was at home with the children.
You know that you were at home with the children. Was it a memorable night?
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. But as soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that.
Thank you for listening to Journey to the Fringe. If you have liked what you have listened to, please like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on what venue you are listening to us through. Also, please, if possible, leave a 5-star review, as that really helps us in the algorithms. Should you wish to interact with us, please check us out on your social media of choice. I bet you we are there. And if you really want to communicate with us and give us ideas for new episodes or tell us that we're wrong and terrible, either way, please send us an email at journeytothefringe@gmail.com. For now, I'll see you in the next episode.